Welcome back to the Nerd Effect Podcast. We are on episode number 62. I am one of your hosts, Dustin Vancouver. I am now from the Deep South and joined by my fellow buddies.
Are you the Colonel all of a sudden?
I keep it crispy. Was it 9 herbs and spices or something like that?
18 herbs and spices.
18 herbs and spices.
18 herbs and spices.
Yeah.
Okay, I say we fry his cock.
He said it is crispy.
That would make it tastier.
Anyway.
Deep frying anything, really. I mean, to be fair.
Okay.
It's true.
You can deep fry a bumper, it would probably taste better.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's your name, dude?
I don't know anymore. I don't know. I must have fried it. I am Michael Morgan.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I am Mason Ireland. And tonight is going to be our E3 extravaganza episode.
Yay! I don't care if Nikki's not here. This is a yay episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
But,
so, all about the fucking video games man.
Well, video games and electronics in general.
It's pretty much video games.
It's pretty much video games.
Yep.
But,
Gonna talk about the
if you want other electronics, it's Computex for computers and oh my god, I don't remember, I just forgot the name. The one that happens in Vegas in January.
CES?
CES, yeah. Computer Entertainment.
Something.
Computer Entertainment Show or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay. You guys are more informed than I am. So I'm
CES
right
is huge.
along.
Doesn't it usually take up 3 hotels or something like that?
Yeah.
It's insane.
And the entire Las Vegas Convention Center.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. And that's without the porn. The porn has been relegated outside.
I really want to go to a XXX convention of some sort, some adult convention, because I think that would be entertaining as fuck.
Pun intended?
Yes.
Okay.
You can take that as a verb or an adjective. Either way it works.
Okay.
Or would it not be an adjective? That would be as fun. I guess it'd be a noun. Whatever. It's the most versatile word in the English language.
Yeah, it can be any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. So, the last week, E3 happened.
As I say, and as a disclaimer, to be fair, Mason's going to guide us down this slippery slope for the most part, because Mike and I may have or may not have watched most of E3.
Yeah. I found a list of all the games.
Yeah.
Whereas Mason is obsessed with E3 and watches all the major press
I
conferences.
just didn't have the fucking time, and I honestly didn't even know it was happening until the last fucking minute. I was like, yeah.
So, we are going to go by chronological order, not order of importance, because if we went by order of importance, Bethesda would be first.
And we would never leave until
Bethesda
it
was
would be
done.
the Bethesda cast.
It would be the Bethesda cast, yes. So the first people to put up a show this year was EA. Theirs was on Sunday. It was technically a pre-show conference because E3 does not technically start till Tuesday. But whatevs. So yeah, they had. Let's see. What's the EA conference? EA conferences. What do I expect in an EA conference?
Madden.
Oh yeah, Madden and FIFA. They were there, of course. Besides that, there was some disappointing news called Mass Effect Andromeda, and still no more goddamn solid information about it.
Pretty visuals.
Pretty visuals, but
Looking sexy.
quite honestly, yeah, Frostbite engine. Saw that in Battlefield or Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. Say what you want about Star Wars Battlefront. I am a person who didn't really find it that interesting of a game. There could have been a whole lot more to it. Some people love it, but say what you want. It was damn pretty. Really damn pretty. And, yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda, the in-game rendered stuff that they were showing from it, or in-engine rendered stuff, I should say, from it, it was using the Frostbite engine. It was real pretty. Real damn pretty.
Damn it. I forgot the name of it. The vehicle.
The Mako.
The Mako, yes.
The Mako makes a return, yes.
Yes.
And hopefully doesn't drive like a Jack Russell Terrier on crack this time.
Yeah.
That would be bizarre to see.
It was hard as fuck to control, bouncing and jumping everywhere. Oh. However, I did like the idea of driving the Mako around and exploring. I hated it driving the Mako around and exploring because it was so twitchy. So there was also Titanfall 2, which they learned this time and put in a single player campaign for Titanfall instead of trying to tell the story through the multiplayer campaign.
I remember correctly, they improved the multiplayer too.
Yeah. I'll say, again, it looked really pretty. It was a fast-paced shooter, which I like. I don't like tactical first-person shooters too much. Like, I'm not the hugest Call of Duty fan. Also because, like, I don't know. It's just something about it. Like, the modern-esque warfare games don't have any appeal to me. Near future, as they've gone now, still doesn't really appeal to me that much. Whereas far future / fantastical, Doom, Quake, Unreal Tournament, stuff like that appeals to me. And like World War II shooters appeal to me. But like modern-esque era stuff, okay, like in the last Call of Duty, they had like the exosuit and stuff, but Like, when I heard about Titanfall the first time, I was kind of jazzed.
You're like, mechs!
And the ability to run around as a pilot, get into my mech, fight as a mech, be able to actually have weapons that can, outside of my mech, that can damage enemy mechs. It sounded great. Then they're like, oh, by the way, it's multiplayer only. And I still like campaigns in my shooters. Not that I'm not going to play the multiplayer in a shooter, but I want my campaign also. So I'm actually rather looking forward to Titanfall 2 because I'm not going to pre-order it. I'm not going to buy it for day one, but I'm going to give it like a month, see what people say about it. And then if it's like, they're like, the campaign's solid and the multiplayer is good, I'll probably pick it up. Yeah, I have to say, for as far as Mass Effect goes, I'm still probably going to buy it day one because I really like the Mass Effect universe, everything they created about it and everything. I just really hope they don't screw it up somehow. And they have had a lot of personnel changes at BioWare.
Is BioWare owned by EA?
Yes.
Okay.
But they've generally been left alone because they're kind of the oddball in the EA stable because they make role-playing games.
They're like, you just stay over here and keep making us money.
But the thing is they've made Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age 2 technically, Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3, Dragon Age Inquisition, the Knights of the Old Republic, yeah, I said that, and then The Old Republic, the MMO, all of which are great games. The MMO, as far as being an MMO, was a little too WoW clone, but each individual class in the game had its own storyline, and all 8 of those storylines, the 4 dark side ones and the 4 light side ones, each storyline with not much more effort could have all been made into their own games in their own rights and been 8 great Star Wars games. So, yeah. BioWare does good with their stories. So who wants to talk about Madden and FIFA?
Yay.
The sports ball.
Okay. Yeah, okay, we're good.
I know there's a rugby game out there somewhere, too. But
there is, I'm pretty sure. There has to be, because you have to get the Australian and the British market equivalent of a football game.
Well, I just know that Jake and I used to play the shit out of one on Sega Genesis, and it was fucking awesome. It was you played it at that kind of 3/4 view.
Yeah.
You're kind of like running up and down diagonally.
Right.
It was fun. It was such a fun game.
Yeah. I have to admit, they had an independent game there again. One of the things that EA has started doing is finding independent games and basically finding ones that they like, that whoever's doing this judging likes. And again, say what you want about the corporation EA as a, conglomerate monster that doesn't really like video games and just likes profit. There are people in the company who care about video games. And one of the things they have started doing is going and finding an independent video game and then helping the independent developer bring it to publication. Because, one of the things that EA has a great ability to do to help an independent developer, I could have my game done, as an independent developer, but one of my problems is how do I market it? Because, I can put it on Steam. I can try to put it on the Microsoft and Sony stores for digital download, but I have to get people to know about my game. I have to give people reason to want to drop the 15, 20, 30 bucks, whatever I'm charging for my independent game on it. EA has a fucking marketing department.
And lots of Skrilla.
So what they're doing, what they explained to this plan as, and I'm sure there's more nuances to it than what they gave out, because, they were definitely giving a simplified version of the plan. But basically the way they explained it, or at least the way I interpreted their explanation, was that they find the game and then market and publish it for the independent producer. They recoup their losses. In other words, what they spent, they recoup that, and then everything else goes to the developer of the game. Now, this is a pretty hot shit deal for an independent developer, because because EA doesn't have to spend a huge amount of their massive budgets to tack on promotion for this game. They talked about it. It's called Fe, I think is what this one's. It's
Fig. Wait, what now? Sorry.
It's like Fe, I think. It's Fe. It's Fe or something like that. Fe or Fe. It's from a Norse country. But if, I can get my game out there, even after EA's not cut, but just them recouping their losses, the likelihood of me making more money than I would have just trying to market it myself on Steam and, the other digital download platforms is huge. Mm-hmm. Not that Steam is bad, and a lot of people would probably buy it on Steam. I mean, they might have an Origin exclusive thing on it, but I doubt that. But if I can get my game out there and people knowing about it and intrigued and wanting to try it, because they talked about this game for maybe 5 minutes during their press conference, but now people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and honestly, I don't remember much about it. And that is actually my fault, not the press conference's fault in this case, because I was painting miniatures at the same time I was watching the EA press conference. But yeah. And then, okay, there's going to be some more Star Wars games.
Are they going to bring back Jedi power battles?
No. There's going to be a Battlefront 2 again? To the doubling? I don't know. Because they called this one Star Wars Battlefront. There was originally a Star Wars Battlefront, and there was a Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, this one's the second Battlefront 2, I guess. But evidently they were like, okay, fine. We heard you. We listened. We're going to put in more shit this time.
Like a campaign?
Well, for Battlefront, they were more like, fine, we'll let you fucking fight in space and play space fighters, okay? Because a lot of people really wanted that, me included. I also didn't want them to feel like they were on freaking arcade rails.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that would at least help me be more interested in the new Battlefront. And then there's going to be the role-playing games, or the role-playing game and the action RPG games
that are Star Wars based.
And there was some stuff from Visceral on one of them. But it was like literally 5 seconds of watching a guy walk out of a building into a desert. Because everything has to start in Star Wars on a desert planet, I think.
I think it's in the contract.
Yeah. So, he was either on Tatooine or Jakku, but he was walking out of a building. He moved a, piece of cloth aside and stepped out. And, yeah, it was in the Frostbite engine. So guess what? It looked really fucking pretty. But nothing about the game. And there's been rumors of 1313 getting picked back up, which that would be fucking awesome. Because from what I heard, the storyline of 1313 was, hi, you're this character named Boba Fett, but you haven't actually learned to be a bounty hunter yet. You are learning to be a bounty hunter. You are under your mentor's wing. Him teaching you how to live up to your dad's legacy, basically, as a bounty hunter.
That would be fun.
Yeah. And it all takes place in, like, the Undercity of Coruscant. So that would have been a cool game if it had ever come to the light of day. But unfortunately, it was being developed by LucasArts at the time when Disney bought all of George Lucas's assets for Star Wars and everything. So it got canned as a game.
Boo.
Yeah.
And will be turned into a movie.
It'd be a cool movie, too. I'm just saying. So, yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff coming out. And the game probably that most impressed me from EA, which wasn't originally announced at E3, but they showed it off again at E3 with gameplay. Like, actual 32 on 32 gameplay, was Battlefield 1.
Yes. That game looks bizarrely awesome.
Yeah. It's set in World War One. You can have machine guns and submachine guns, but there's no assault rifles yet. And you have pistols, and you can fly, and you can have, there's multi-character tanks. Like, you actually have to have the correct amount of people in a tank to keep it running. And drive it and fire the guns and do all of the yuha, blah, 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 of driving a tank. Especially World War One tank, they weren't easy. And the thing is like modern tankers will tell you driving and manning a tank is not easy. The Abrams is a walk in the park compared to World War One tank, from what I've heard, from like tank historians. But yeah, and you'll fly biplanes and triplanes in the skies and shoot down airships and use rail guns and charge the enemy lines across desert battlefields wielding swords while riding on horses. And you actually have to worry about when to put on your gas mask because it's a limited resource, because the gas masks are a limited resource. So, if the enemy's gassing the battlefield, you have to get your mask on, get out of the gas as quickly as possible, so you'll still have oxygen left in it just in case something happens again. And the actual gameplay footage they showed looked really good. Mm-hmm. Not everybody they had playing the game could what's the word I'm looking for? Play video games very good. But they were definitely not pro players. Mm-hmm. But the game looked incredibly fun. It actually looked like a Battlefield game I want to play again. Because I loved the original Battlefield in World War II. Battlefield Vietnam was pretty good, but still kind of pushing my modern, don't want to play it type thing.
We had a lot of good LAN parties with Vietnam.
We did. I think that was more of why I liked Vietnam more than the game itself, was the people I was playing Battlefield Vietnam with.
I just remember having a minigun and just being like, die.
I remember Brad using helicopters as an offensive weapon.
That's Brad.
Yep. And I was the only person who'd be a second in that helicopter because I could actually somehow aim while he was doing that crazy stuff. But yeah, no, Battlefield 1 has actually got me interested in the Battlefield franchise again. So yeah. What are you guys got any thoughts about EA? Besides sports ball.
BioWare.
Okay, so Mass Effect. Yeah.
Of all the titles that you've just mentioned, Battlefront was really the only game I've played out of that bunch.
Battlefield?
Battlefront.
Battlefront.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay.
And it was, like you said, it's fun, but it's like...
There's nothing there to hold you in.
No, it's like
Yeah.
you're out, you're like, it's the same thing over and over again. There's no real change. It looks nice.
Yeah.
But,
so hopefully they're going to stick to what they said, and it's going to be more maps, more stuff to do in the next iteration of it. So.
And then, Battlefield 1 looks it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I hope they do more with that.
Yeah. And they have said that it is not true to history. Like, one, you're not just slogging it out in a trench, shooting pop shots at each other every 3 or 4 hours. That would make for a dumb video game. But also, they have taken liberties with the weapons and things to make it faster paced and more exciting than World War I combat would have been. But they also added in, like, what was really interesting, they added in a bayonet charge mechanic where basically you can decide as a character to charge an enemy with your bayonet. Basically, you get a straight line on them and you charge, and your character goes all out trying to run this person down and tag them with their bayonet. If you hit them, it's an instant kill. But if they know you're coming, they can try to get out of the way. And you can turn and move, but it exhausts you quicker. So if you make it to him still, awesome. But if you don't make it to him, basically your character drops to his knees and collapses for a second and can't do a damn thing for like 5 seconds. Then he gets back up. So you become a sitting duck if you miss a bayonet charge. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I'm guessing there'll be perks somewhere in the game to like reduce that lag time.
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now on to the important one.
Yay.
Bethesda.
Yay.
Again, there really didn't need to be a press conference after Bethesda's, but other people went on deciding they still needed to do theirs. But, so first of all, Bethesda comes out and it's like, all right. Remember that Wolfenstein game we made back a few years ago? You guys loved that, right? Yeah. First-person shooter with a storyline? Pretty awesome game, huh? Oh, remember that Doom game we brought out the year before, last year? Yeah, Doom. Mic drop. But, so it's Doom.
It's kind of fun, guys. It really is.
But it's Doom. And it's got great first-person campaign, and from what I've heard, awesome multiplayer. Since we here at Bethesda Softworks and ZeniMax Media happen to own id, who's made both of these games, they made a third property. Ever heard of Quake? Well, we're bringing that shit back too.
Yay.
All first, and it is not going to be a campaign. It is going to be what Quake was known for. It is going to be multiplayer, hardcore, arena fighting Quake.
Yay.
I can't wait. I'm so happy that Bethesda Softworks and id decided, let's go back and do all 3 of our major first-person shooter properties again and do them right. Not just make them look pretty, but actually make them the styles of games that the people who played them remember and what they were remembered for.
Probably the only thing that even comes close to the amount of hours I've wasted on World of Warcraft would be the hours I've wasted on Quake.
Yeah. We spent so many hours at Cyberplace on Quake, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Still surprised the place closed with how many hours we put in there.
2 Fort 2.
2 Forts 2, baby. Yep.
Oh, man.
So, next thing they brought up was the Fallout 4 DLC. There's going to be 3 more DLCs, and it's done. First one is out as of the recording on... It is currently out, and it is the Wasteland Tinker Workshop. So you can basically make gigantic Rube Goldberg devices in your towns, in your settlements. And for those of you who don't know what a Rube Goldberg device is, go look up the game Mousetrap. It's a board game.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but that's what a Rube Goldberg device is. Something that's needlessly complex to do something. And Yeah, I'm going to go home and play with it tonight because I want to make needlessly complex things that like ring doorbells.
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like fucking? Does Pee Wee Herman have his house set up something similar like that in the movies?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Him and Ernest, I think.
I don't remember the Ernest movies well enough. I know I saw them
Anyway.
because it was the right. Yeah. So, and then the next DLC that comes out in July is going to be the Vault Tech Workshop, where you get to build your own vault and you can actually set up your own experiments to do on your vault dwellers. Just like Vault Tech did. And then the final DLC will be out in August, and it is the Nuka World DLC, where you visit a theme park, a Nuka World theme park that has been overrun by raider tribes. And evidently, one of the criticisms of Fallout 4 has been that you couldn't truly be a bad guy in Fallout 4. Like, even if you sided with the Institute, you weren't really a bad guy. I mean, you were probably less popular, but you weren't a bad guy. Because there can be justifications made to support the Institute above the Brotherhood, above the Railroad, etc. And spoiler alert, but the game's been out for almost a year. And in this one, they're making it sound like you can actually be a bad guy. You can, like, take over or create your own raider gang.
Okay.
To actually, like, go out and raid the wasteland. You know, truly be the real bad guys of, Fallout people. Oh, wait. Let's not get philosophical about Fallout, even though it is the bad guys are people. So, yeah.
Just like Soylent Green?
Yep. So, yeah. But the 3 more DLCs for Fallout 4. They have 2 big things they're working on before the next Elder Scrolls they announced. One of them, they straight up said, was the Skyrim Special Edition, which, if you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One and haven't played Skyrim on your previous generation console, or just want to play it again because it's frickin' Skyrim, and this time you're going to get DLC, you're going to get mods just like computers.
And the upscaling is...
And it's not upscaling. It is completely redone graphics.
Yeah.
Are amazing. And grab it when it comes out. And if you're a PC user, if you don't already own Skyrim and all of its DLC, there's a Steam sale in like a week. So you're going to be able to get it for like $9, and then you will get the Skyrim Special Edition for free when it comes out. Just buy the Legendary Edition of Skyrim, and you will get the Special Edition for free when it comes out for your computer. Yeah. And it's Skyrim again. No surprises. Everyone knows what happens. But it's going to look really, really pretty. Let's see. The new Prey game by Arcane Studios, Texas. Arcane has officially split into 2 studios. There is now Arcane Lyon and Arcane Texas. But it is a new Prey game that is Arcane's imagining on it. It has nothing to do with the first Prey game that came out, which I believe was an id game. It was, I know Bethesda Softworks published it. I believe it was an id game, but I'm not 100% certain. But the licensing has gone over to Arcane Studios, and it is their own thing. And go watch the trailer. I don't want to spoil it for you. It's creepy as fuck. Oh yeah, Doom gets some DLC. More maps, which unfortunately I have to disagree with Bethesda here, because they're going to split their player base, which is the dumbest ass thing you can do on a first person shooter, because they're going to charge you for maps. There is a free update to Doom that is coming out that will have a couple of new maps, a couple of new game modes, and some new textures and skins for the creator. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be, I guess you could say, premium DLC or whatever that is going to be more maps, not more game modes, but more maps for the game modes that you have to pay for. Which is,
I'm guessing these are all purely online maps?
It's all online maps. There's also going to be a new mode. There's a couple of new single player modes too that you can make maps for in the creator. But I think that's part of the free stuff. But the fact that they're making maps and charging for them is a bad idea, in my opinion, because you're going to split your player base into the haves and have-nots. And like, say I come in, because like I don't own Doom yet. I'm planning on picking it up during this summer sale. Probably whether it actually goes on sale or not, I'm probably going to pick it up. But like, okay, I come in, I don't have the DLCs. I have less people to play with until I buy those DLCs.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on who you are, it can either force you to buy the DLCs earlier than you wanted to because you want to do some multiplayer along with finishing the campaign, or it's going to turn you off to the game completely because of the long wait times to get into games. So, yeah. I think it's a bad idea on Bethesda Softworks' part to do that. But I am also not in the games industry, so I don't have much say in that. I just think it's personally a bad idea because I would not want to split my player base with map packs.
I think it'd be fun if they released a single player DLC that was complete remakes of the original Doom game, like but in this style of gameplay. So the maps and the layouts are all exactly the same except in this version of Doom. It'd be fun to
like
back for $10 or something like that.
See what I would have done as Quake DLC, or it's not Quake, Doom DLC, is I would have made more shorter, but more single player campaigns. Mm. Basically, make it so you charge about the same as
a map pack.
No, not a map pack. The amount of extra playtime you get from a Fallout DLC. So, for example, all told, Automaton took me roughly hour and a half to 2 hours to do all the questing. So, hour and a half to 2 hours, $10. 8-ish hours that it took me to get through all of the main quests, and I lollygagged and did a lot of side quests. But the 8-ish hours it probably took me to get through the main quest of Far Harbor. Mm-hmm. You charge $30 for that, like they did for the Fallout DLCs. As long as you're giving people enough content to make it worth the money as the single player stuff, that's what I think you should be doing with the DLCs. The map creator stuff and new maps and new play modes for multiplayer should all be free DLCs so everybody can get them. Everybody can stay on the same page when it comes to multiplayer. Because say I finished the main Doom and I'm like, awesome, but I don't really care about playing, like the
online.
No, not the online, but I don't care about playing the DLCs. I don't have to buy them, but I can still stay up to date online and play online with people. Mm. So that I don't agree with, which is, I hate to say it, but man, disagreeing with Bethesda hurts. Yeah. And then, basically, just to finish off their mic drop, Dishonored 2. More about Dishonored 2. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Again, same kind of game, and it's being developed by Arcane Lyon. And it's similar gameplay style as the first Dishonored, where it's a stealth action game. First-person stealth action game. But yeah, the effects look great. The video game looks great. Still keeps the Dishonored art style, which is intentionally a little off-putting. Like, it looks really good, but it's kind of visually a little disturbing. And they did that on purpose to help give feel to the world. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the new locations look great. The gameplay looks awesome. I'm super stoked for Dishonored 2. I really loved the first Dishonored. I was unsure of it. Like, when it first came out, I was like, but then I broke down and bought it, and I was glad I did. So I'm personally really looking forward to Dishonored 2 because of that. And yeah, that was E3. Oh, wait, Ubisoft and Microsoft and Sony set up too or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did stuff.
So the next conference on the line is Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the mandatory Windows 10 upgrade for that?
Yes. Speaking of Windows 10 upgrades, Microsoft was pushing hard on the cross-playability between Xbox One and Windows 10. And basically, it sounds like if it's coming out after September of this year, they're basically making the manufacturers put it on both through the Microsoft Store. That's not going to stop people from putting it on Steam or Origin, or Ubi Play, whatever Ubisoft's version of Steam is. But you have to log into, even if you log into Steam to play an Ubisoft game. Anyway, but
excuse me,
they're really pumping the whole, at least their first party publishers, this game works on the Xbox and on Windows. The problem is, I have a lot of problems with how the API is implemented on the Windows 10 side of things, about how it doesn't go full screen. You can't mod your games. You're locked into frame rates, even if your video card can handle much better. You're locked into graphic settings, even if your video card can handle much better. Yeah. However, they also talked about the new Xbox Slim, which is going to be able to handle 4K video. However, they also specifically...
Wait, the Xbox Slim or the Scorpio?
The Xbox Slim.
Will handle 4K?
Will handle... let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
Well, it will handle 4K video, but not 4K
not
gameplay.
Okay, yeah.
However, it is still there is still a graphical bump for going from the regular Xbox One to the Slim. And also the Slim is not packaged with a Kinect. I know they already backpedal on that, but it's just good to point out again. But
It's really, who's going to use that?
yeah. Friend of the podcast, Crystal does. She plays a lot of Dance Revolution on Twitch.
Oh.
So.
Well, thanks for being a fan.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, the big games that, let's see, they showed off more Battlefield 1, but we've already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War 4 looked like Gears of War.
Do the trailer for it just
with some awesome freaking
Tears.
Physics
Tears.
of that, of how the new engine is working. Oh, wow.
Also, they showed gameplay this time around.
Yes.
So the trailer that they released, about 2 months ago? It was like
Yeah.
a trailer of the dude just run through a forest of trying to run away from the baddies.
Yeah. But no, the new Gears of War 4 looks great. Third-person cover shooter still. It's a Gears game. But, looks really good. Forza Horizons. I hate to say it, probably going to pick it up because I want some Forza on my computer. Wish they would just get ready to do Forza 7 and put that on my computer also, instead of Horizons, which is a little more arcadey than the proper Forza games.
Which is weird because that would appeal to me more. Civ Driver's just not my favorite.
I like building out my Mitsubishi Lancer Evo into an ultimate rally car or drift car. So, yeah. New game that they showed, ReCore. this game was interesting looking because like there's like a main protagonist who's like an engineer girl, and then all of the other characters in the game are her robots, and you can switch between her and playing as the robots, like on the same level. So like each robot does its own thing, or has its own thing it does, and you can switch between playing her and commanding your robots to do stuff, and then taking direct control of the robots. It looks like, and it's pretty kind of like. The aesthetic was really interesting, kind of an interesting looking game. Interested to hear more about it, but definitely kind of, it was interesting looking. Final Fantasy 15, who cares?
Dead Rising 4.
Dead Rising 4, which looks like it went back to its Dead Rising roots.
God bless them.
Of just stupid, ridiculous zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't care because it's a zombie apocalypse, because I'm tired of zombies. But for those of you who like Dead Rising, it looks like it is going back to its roots and going to be an awesome game for you.
For those at home who don't have a visual, Dustin raised his hand for that.
Yes. And you can also get a power armor to swing your chainsaws on oars around with.
Yeah.
Let's see. Killer Instinct is still alive and thriving. There's evidently, on average, 6 million players a month for KI, which after a year is pretty freaking awesome. And admittedly, back in the day, KI was one of the fighters I really tried to put some time into because it was cool and different.
Combo breaker.
Yep. I don't remember the game inside or We Happy Few. Again, I was painting miniatures while watching this. Actually, I might have gone up and gotten a cigarette at that point. I'm not sure. The folks over at CD Projekt Red.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not Cyberpunk. Sorry.
Oh.
They have. They found out, and they asked people, did some demographics about the game, and found out that people would spend hours, literally hours, playing the in-game card game Gwent. So, new game.
Gwent.
Yep. They're coming out with a Gwent card game that is standalone. So you can play against other real people, not just AIs, and you don't have to load Witcher 3 first.
So, well, I'm sensing an opportunity to actually release like a special edition that actually physically comes with the card game.
They might. That would be pretty awesome, actually. But see, okay, this is how popular this card game got with some people. Like, there are Gwent leagues in Europe where people print their own decks on stock card. Like, real playing cards, they get them custom printed or print them themselves onto the cards.
Ridiculous.
Pretty cool, in my opinion. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, people enjoy it that much. Mm-hmm. Two, we have the ability to do that ourselves now. Mm-hmm. You know. Tekken 7, Dustin.
Tekken 7, I'm all about fighters.
I know.
Fighters are my deal. It's a Tekken game.
I
don't know what else to tell you. It just
it's pretty
looks prettier. Add more characters. It's pretty much the basic common formula for any fighter.
Yeah, and
a really disjointed storyline.
And this is Tekken, so it has to be an especially disjointed storyline. Yeah, we did Dead Rising, Scalebound. I don't know about this game. Like, okay, the idea of partnering up with a dragon's kind of cool. Get it? You know, it's in a modern-ish age because the guy has, like, headphones on and stuff. Cool. Okay. I mean, dragons don't have to sit in their fantasy conundrum forever. You know, and it is kind of a conundrum because people don't know what to do with a dragon idea outside of fantasy most of the time. Shadowrun being the only quasi-exception of a game that has done anything with a dragon outside of a fantasy setting. And there's still elves and trolls in it. So, but like, you know, and like they showed you fighting this really big boss, except for the boss looked really incapable of hurting the players. But you could do it in co-op, which was cool. And it just, I don't know. Like, it's graphically cool. The idea of teaming up with the dragon's cool. It just looks like it's going to fall completely fucking flat on gameplay. Like, it's just not going to be fun. You know, after the novelty, woohoo, dragon wears off, done.
Yeah.
So, Sea of Thieves, interesting kind of cartoony game where it's a multiplayer online game where you and your buddies or random people are thrown together with who you go solo, get a ship, and have to run around stealing other pirates' treasure, not getting yours stolen, and sinking other people's ships, and piratey things are...
Yo ho ho.
Yes. Looked like it could be like hop in it, mess around for an hour, fun type game, but not a long-term player, you know. State of Decay 2, again, for you, those of you who like zombies. It's State of Decay with co-op multiplayer, finally, basically, is what it boils down to. And, like, you won't necessarily start out together. So, like, you know, like, the three of us could, like, start out as a group. And then we could be running along fighting zombies and, you know, do something, you know, either start building up a base or start traveling around in, like, a car or something. But then we see a signal off in the distance showing us where some other people are playing. And, like, we can go help them defend their encampments or whatever. But it's co-op. So, which I like, because a lot of people in post-apocalyptic zombie games are jerks, and are usually the other players are more of a problem than the zombies. So yeah. So if you're interested in zombie survival horror, State of Decay 2, looks like a pretty decent game for you. Halo Wars 2. It's Halo plus StarCraft.
Again.
Yes, updated graphics. It's kind of like Halo 4 plus StarCraft 2. Or Halo 5, I guess you say, this newest one.
I lost track.
There's a lot of Halo games.
I got one sitting on my shelf because it came with my
Xbox
I got. And,
yeah. They aren't bad shooters, but to me, they've never held a candle to Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. So... let's see. Sorry, not Dance Dance Revolution. Just Dance. That's what Crystal plays. But yeah, so that's the end of the Microsoft conference, except for Project Scorpio, nebulously coming sometime in 2017. Oh my God, is this thing going to be expensive?
It's going to be super expensive, especially if they're touting 4K as video for video
4K
games.
60 frames per second.
Good luck, fuckers. I love Microsoft. I love you, but that's gonna be a painful.
Unless AMD delivers on the RX 480s,
That's gonna come at a price.
$399 for the RX 480 card
By itself.
Yes,
Which means that the consoles are going to be close to $1,000, if not more.
But the NVIDIA cards, their flagship cards, are $700. Oh no, sorry, the RX 480 is not $399; it's $299. So I know you're still talking to probably a near $1,000 console, but it's not as bad as if they had to go with an NVIDIA card.
And then you have to get the 4K TV to go with the console.
Or the VR rig.
That too.
The Scorpio is really being pushed as a VR device.
Just like the Sony 4.5 Neo.
Whatever they're calling it, yeah. And we'll get to Sony in a minute, though. Next is Ubi.
Okay.
Just Dance 2017. It's another Just Dance game. Not much to say about it. It's Just Dance.
Shake your booty.
Shake your booty, yeah. Ghost Recon Wildlands. Still the same game they showed off last year. Just they showed off more of it. Gameplay looks good. Definitely a game you'd have to get some dedicated buddies to play with. Like, it's just, you want a 4-man team. You want to all be able to communicate and know each other's skills and weaknesses in a shooter type game to get through it with the least pain possible, basically. But that being said, if you can do that, and you like military power fantasies about beating up drug dealers, it's a game for you.
You should remake the game Narc.
Lol.
The next game, South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
Well, the South Park kids are back at it again. And instead of playing instead of LARPing Dungeons and Dragons, they are now playing superheroes. And yeah, it's a South Park game. It's what you expect from everything South Park. It's dick and fart jokes. Just, you get to interact with the dick and fart jokes in the games. So, if you really love South Park, awesome. I've kicked around the idea of picking up the first one here and there, but I've never been able to convince myself to commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
The Division is getting DLC throughout the next year, but we already knew that. Thanks.
Are they going to renege on their fucking tablet?
Oh no, they actually commented on that. Angry Joe actually asked one of the developers point blank about that because they hadn't talked about it in a while.
What the fuck, man?
He said straight up, the developer was like, "We had it working. Boring as fuck if you were the guy on the tablet." So they were like, "It wasn't fun. We axed it." Like, he was blunt. He was completely blunt about it. He was so blunt about it. Like, I can't conceive of him lying.
Interesting
about it. And it was to Angry Joe. I think a lot of developers have learned to be kind of honest and blunt with Angry Joe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was during a Division we're hyping up the game thing that he said this. So he was like, "It wasn't any fun. We cut it."
Well, it's nice to know that they,
he said, "We had it developed and ready to go. This wasn't fun, so we cut it."
It's nice to know that they did that, though, instead of trying to hype it up as a sale point and then just fucking
disappear.
Yeah. Well, that and it disappoints off.
Or it's disappointing.
It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
And then the game ends up lacking in bad reviews because of a poor add-on.
Yeah. Eagle Flight, I don't remember. Again, I was pretty much, except for Bethesda's, I was painting during all of these. However, Star Trek Bridge Crew. Oh, Eagle Flight's the VR game. It's capture the food in a post-apocalyptic Paris while flying around as an eagle. And your weapon is your eagle screeches, and you screech at the other eagles to knock them out of the sky. Kind of silly game concept, sure, whatever. Mindbender of a ride while watching someone play it in VR just on the screen. My 2D flat panel, which it's rendering things in 3D, but it's not virtual reality. It was already a mind bender of flight, because you can barrel roll and you can loop and swerve and dive and act like a bird in flight.
Huh.
So I probably would have been on the actually playing the VR, even if it was perfectly smooth. It was and it was an HTC Vive game. They used the Vive controllers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty awesome looking. Just for I don't know how long it would last as a cool game, people playing it as a game, but as far as a concept demo of what you can do with the VR, I'm like, okay, I see it now with modern VR. It's just that the prices of everything VR is going to be so bloody expensive for the next 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek Bridge Crew.
You can simulate piloting the
the Aegis, but you're not the Enterprise crew. But however, they had LeVar Burton and Jerry Ryan and somebody else who I can't remember playing the game with a couple of their people.
Huh.
And it it was cool because it was like each person had their job. There's a bridge simulator game out there already that's similar in concept, except for everyone has their own laptop or computer, where you have different stations. You have a command station, the captain, and then you have 4 other stations. And the captain orders people to do things and stuff, and they have to execute them. And, like the engineer has to balance power and stuff and everything. And, the weapons officer has to get his power to power his weapons and then target the enemies and yada, yada. But this was a VR kind of version of that game, and based on the independently developed one is not shy about the fact that they totally bit off of Star Trek, but they never mentioned Star Trek anywhere because Paramount would sue them. Whereas this is an officially licensed Star Trek title. And it was funny, like, listening to them because, like, it was really funny because, like, when LeVar Burton was the captain, he took prompting from other people to tell them to do things. Like, Jerry Ryan was like, "What do you want me to do, LeVar?" And like, but when he was when he played as the engineer, he was totally comfortable.
I wonder why.
I know, but no, he said he was basically saying he was like, I channeled Geordi again. It was like being Geordi again when I was in the engineer position, but I had a hard time sitting in the captain's seat, which was kind of neat. I mean, just seeing that from an actor who did that for so long,
right? And
obviously they're using actors from Star Trek to help promote the game, but doesn't mean it wasn't a good-looking game or interesting. It's only a VR game from the look of it, so I don't think I'll be playing it anytime soon. The next was For Honor, the let's take knights, samurai, and Vikings and have them fuck each other's shit up game.
Didn't the History Channel have a similar game like that about 4 or 5 years ago, where it was like...
Yeah, but this one's good.
It was like Fight Science the game or something like that.
It wasn't Fight Science. It was, but yeah, I know.
It was like who would win, like a samurai from this area versus a Brazilian fighter from this area.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the show now.
Lame shit.
Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, Deadliest Warrior, Ultimate Warrior.
Deadliest Warrior. I think that was right.
Ultimate bullshit. Because. Yeah, they did some dumb shit in that show that made no sense, and yeah. And I'll tell you which warrior wins. The one who gets the jump on the other guy. That's usually the guy who wins in a fight. But For Honor looks great. Has more realistic looking combat. Hopefully the controls are not so arcane that you can't do anything without dedicating your life to learning how the control scheme works, but it's still able to do things like one of the things they keep showing the knights do, which is totally accurate, is they turn their swords around so they're gripping the blade and then they smash people with the quillions, using it, basically turning their sword into a spiky axe, basically. Totally done in real medieval combat. Because if it was 2 knights in full armor versus each other, they were going to bang on each other all day with their swords and do nothing. So they had to do something to, actually hurt each other. But there is a campaign. There is 3 campaigns to go through. One is a knight, one is a samurai, and one is a Viking. And then there's the reason to buy the game, which is the multiplayer. And it looks great, and it's kind of, I have to see more about it as it keeps coming out. And the guy who's like the lead designer on the game, like, you could tell that video game design was his second occupational choice. His first was he really, really wanted to be in Pantera. Like, total metalhead. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's like, he's a total metalhead. He's like, like total, like, he must, I'm sure he was like listening to like Iron Maiden and like Slayer and Metallica as he was developing this game, because it's a fucking heavy metal roleplay. It's a heavy metal medieval beat 'em up is what the whole game seems like. Like I said, I'm not dissing him with that whole he wanted to be in Pantera thing. It's like beard down to here, hair to match,
He needed a muse.
Yeah, and yeah. Let's see. Next game, Trials of the Blood Dragon. Do you remember a couple years ago they came out with Far Cry Blood Dragon?
Yes, that was like the 80s throwback one.
Right.
Yeah.
This is Trials of the Blood Dragon. Their Trials game, which is about crazy motorcycle and four-wheeler shit, done in the Blood Dragon style.
Interesting.
It's like 16-bit graphics, all 80s out, and you're doing crazy like trial bike shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
That was my response. She was like, okay. See, grow up. I must have went out for a cigarette for that. After that one, Watch Dogs 2. It looks like this is the Watch Dogs they tried to make the first time but fucked up on. There's a lot more hacking, a lot more choice. My one major problem with the first Watch Dogs, because I did like the game, I didn't have any inherent. I don't have a lot of love for it, but I liked it and enjoyed playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really care to go back and play Watch Dogs again.
Mm-hmm.
But was that there was too much forced gunplay. Like, I had to shoot my way through this. Whereas evidently in Watch Dogs 2, they have made a concerted effort to step away from that, so you could go through non-lethally with stun weapons or stealth, or you could remotely hack in, or you could use your drones to do your dirty work for you, etc. Mm-hmm. And make it much more about using the environment and the tools that your character is equipped with versus, damn it, there's 10 guys and they all have guns. I'm going to have to fucking gun my way through this. Which was one of the problems with Watch Dogs 1, was there was a little too much, damn it, I have to gun my way through this. And from what I've heard from people who've gotten sneak peeks at the game and stuff, and what they've been saying is that they've tightened up the driving, because there were times when the driving in Watch Dogs 1 was way too arcadey for the kind of gritty siminess of Watch Dogs. And there were other times where you were like, when did I start playing Forza? So evidently they've cleaned up and gotten some help from the guys who did the crew on the driving to try to make it a more balanced driving, that if you're not into driving games, you're not going to completely lose it in the driving sections, but also you can tune it up and make it harder if you are pretty good at driving games type thing. Yeah. And then Steep. Interesting concept for a game. It is an open world extreme alpine sports game. So like extreme snowboarding and paragliding and mountain base jumping and skiing down hills and stuff like in the Swiss Alps.
Interesting.
Yeah. Of course, the team who made it was in the French Alps. I have decided that, damn it, I really should have become a video game designer and started working at Ubisoft so I could go live in the French fucking Alps and design video games. Little jealous on that one, that there's a studio in the French Alps that designs video games. I just,
kind of pretty up there.
Little bit pretty up there. And then the Sony conference. Let's see. The new God of War. Looks great. And Old man Kratos trying to get his humanity back and raise his son in the ways of the God of War. So, yeah.
It doesn't specifically say that's his son here, though.
It's his son. I can't remember where. Somebody said it somewhere that it is his son. Or his adopted son. Or, like, he is the father figure to this child.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there's a lot of games on this list I don't remember well enough. Evidently, I didn't pay too much attention to the Sony conference.
I wish I would have.
Days Gone, I just don't remember.
I did see the cinematic opening for Resident Evil 7, which has nothing to do with the game, apparently.
Yeah.
But they were just like, hey, we can do this just as well as Kojima's old studio could do it, okay? Just look at it. It's pretty and scary.
Yeah.
And then it has nothing, like, the point of view that you're looking at has nothing to do with the actual main protagonist.
Yeah.
It was just more of a tech demo.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see what they tried to do with that. But,
yeah.
and it's coming to VR, which would be creepy as balls.
Last Guardian. Yes, they're still making it. Yes, it is coming out, we swear. Horizon Zero Dawn. The single game I have ever seen that has almost convinced me to buy a PS4.
The mech dinosaurs.
The mech dinosaur game, yes.
Okay.
And the fucking crazy mocap that they did for the lead character.
Yeah. Oh, and the fact that maybe video games are finally getting better about the whole sexism thing. She's a female lead protagonist. Like, she is the main character. You can't opt not to be her. And, oh my god, she's fully clothed. Brings a tear to your eye. Detroit Becomes Human. Don't remember that one. Resident Evil, like you said, tech demo. Were as awesome as Kojima, only not really. Because Kojima shows up later on. Yeah. The Battlefront VR X-Wing mission, like, I kind of glazed out over the VR section again. One, because I've heard about the fact that, like, the PlayStation VR is going to run like ass on a regular PlayStation 4.
Well, you have to upgrade to the Neo, I think, to even have it work properly.
Yeah. So, okay, a Battlefront X-Wing VR mission. Cool. If I had Battlefront 1 and I had a PlayStation 4 Neo and the VR rig and one X-Wing mission, okay, whatever. At least it's free.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham VR. Yeah, first person playing as Batman in the Arkham setting, meaning, as far as we know, it could be any part of the Arkham games. You know, the last Warner Brothers done.
I'm Batman.
So most people are assuming it is, because they didn't say much about it, most people are assuming it is Arkham, the first one. I can't remember the Arkham Asylum. Redone as a first-person VR on the goddamn Batman game. Kind of with you on the goddamn Batman in first-person VR. I am digging that idea.
I mean, heck, how many of us actually wanted to be Batman?
Well, all of us, but
now's your chance.
Yeah. Let's see. Final Fantasy VR experience. It's Final Fantasy 15, but you play as one of the main character in Final 15's sidekicks when you're playing it in this version. But he's the one with the gun, so you can shoot things in VR. Whatever. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Okay, the space combat looked pretty good, except for the why the hell were you boarding the enemy ship part of the level. Like, I mean, maybe it was just a level for, like, demoing all the parts of the game. You know, that isn't really a real level of the game. Because, like, you launch out and you're in your spaceships in Call of Duty. Yeah. And you go and you target one of the other guys' big ships and you fight off some fighters. And then, for some reason, you get out of your ship while in space to board the enemy ship I don't understand the logic here, especially since, you know, they have a dreadnought. You know, there's a big capital, big ass ship that you're trying to get in. You launched from another dreadnought, and they could shoot at the other people's dreadnoughts, and you were in a fighter fighting other fighters and trying to get closer to their dreadnought to do some damage. Why are you getting out of your ship?
Reasons, Mason. Because Call of Duty?
Because Call of Duty, that's a good reason. Yeah, it was stupid reasoning, in other words. Was it visually pretty? Yes. Was the space kind of cool looking? Yes. Does it still deserve to be the most disliked trailer on YouTube? Yes. It just simply, when it comes to the Battlefield Call of Duty fight this time, like, Call of Duty just doesn't have it. Like, it's falling way too flat. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. That's exactly what it sounded like. Crash Bandicoot Remastered. Exactly what it sounds like. But it's much cooler than Call of Duty because it's Crash fucking Bandicoot.
And he's always a good romp.
Yep.
And kid-friendly. You don't see too many like major kid-friendly style games anymore.
No, not unless you own a Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Skylanders Imaginators. This was actually pretty cool because it's the Skylanders from the Disney Skylanders, but you can make your own now. So you can customize your own Skylanders.
That's cool.
Like, granted, they don't come as a little figure because of customizing, but you get to customize them in the game and play them. And I don't know. I thought it sounded kind of like a cool thing to add to the game.
I heard Disney Infinity was discontinuing their line of
Yes, they are.
games.
Yep.
Hope Lego Dimensions doesn't do the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff coming out on Lego Dimensions.
Yeah. Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. That, again, exactly what it sounds like, but a good thing. And then Kojima shows up and goes, "Oh, you thought that Resident Evil thing was creepy that they tried over there at Konami, huh?"
Let me jerk this all over you.
Yeah. So, Death Stranding. So, there's something going on with this black, creepy shit, and there's footprints and handprints appearing in the sand, and then on you, and,
And by on you, I mean you're playing Norman Reedus.
yeah, you're Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead, and then you like had an umbilical cord attached to you that led to a baby, but the baby in the umbilical cord turned into the black goose, and then you don't have a belly button, and then there's dead whales and fish everywhere.
Or as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, so Kojima, ladies and gentlemen, doing what he does best. In other words, being fucking weird. And then there was a Spider-Man game. Yep. Video game about a comic book character. Wasn't Batman. So are you as worried as I was? Yeah, you should be. No, this game actually looks like it's pretty good. Like, harkens back to the 2002 Spider-Man video game with the fluid ability to fling webs and stuff. And, yeah.
Hang around up on ceilings and...
Yeah. Looks like it's much more of a proper Spider-Man game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Batman's the only superhero. I mean, he's one of the easiest, really, to do a video game with in a lot of ways. Because at his core, he's a human. He is a human. That is, he is the most athletic. He is the strongest. He is the most enduring. He is the most intelligent. He is the most observant. He is literally the pinnacle peak human being. That is the whole point behind Batman, is that he's that, plus he's got a lot of fucking money.
And he's emotionally damaged as fuck.
But the whole point of the character is that he is a human, but he's just so good at all the aspects of being human. He is the perfect human, essentially, that he can go and stand up to supervillains that have powers and win. And he doesn't win by standing up to him straight on. He uses his tricks and, his ability to think on his feet and everything to do it.
Because he would die if he did.
Because he would die if he didn't, exactly. But, so, in some ways, he's pretty easy to do a game for. Because if you want to lower Batman's power level, you strip him of a gadget.
Well, and he's also the one DC character who's fully equipped to make sure that at any given moment he'd be able to take down any member of the Justice League in case they turned rogue.
Yes. Of course, he did that on purpose too.
Yep.
But the thing is that he's, you want to lower Batman's power level, you take something away from him. You want to, but the problem is you want to limit Superman's power level. He has two goddamn modes, on and off. He's either fine because there is no kryptonite around, or fucked because there is kryptonite around. And there is no other real in between for him.
The sun could go out.
Well, yeah, but then everybody dies.
It's true.
And it has to go through the red phase first, where he gets weaker and becomes normal. But at that point, the sun's so big, there's no more Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Ooh, red giant. Bleh.
yeah. So, yeah. Batman, pretty easy character to make a game for. All things said. Spider-Man, one of the hardest things about... Okay, there's two things that would have been hard about a Spider-Man game. He is super. Like, he can bench press a ton. He's not the strongest hero out there. But he's pretty strong. Mm-hmm. He has precognition. He can sense things before they happen if it is dangerous to him. Or danger happening in his immediate vicinity. Mm. Again, a little hard to get around. He is a genius level intellect. He made his web slingers and the web and made it really, really strong, but it also dissolves after an hour. So he's a master chemist. Yeah, harder character. But the thing is he's such a fun character because he's a wisecracking teenager, basically. And he kind of gets stuck as a wisecracking teenager, even though his character has aged. Peter Parker aged in Marvel from being a teenager into his 20s. But once his uncle died, he kind of stopped emotionally maturing. So yeah. But when it comes to gameplay aspects, besides giving things to challenge him, and just that would not completely destroy Manhattan in the process, or Queens, you also have the challenge of his 3D verticality, because Batman goes up and down on his back grapples and stuff, but they're predictable. They're grappling hooks. Mm-hmm. And then he'll float down using his cape to slow his descent. Again, predictable. Whereas Spider-Man can come at you from any angle, basically, because he can stick to a ceiling or a wall. He can throw his webs out in any direction and swing off of them to some degree, depending on which way the web's going. So he's a lot more three-dimensional. And we've gotten a lot better at that in video games recently. in the designers of video games have gotten a lot better at doing that recently than they were, even when the last considered good Spider-Man game came out in 2002. So, yeah. So, besides that, there was also VR porn at E3, evidently.
There was.
Yeah.
VR porn. They know their audience, goddammit. They have no hold bards about it.
Yeah.
I was just glad to see that there wasn't that crazy Japanese fucking virtual suit that was floating around the internet for a while. Oh, Lord have mercy. Here, try this on. No.
I don't know who's been in. I don't know where that's been. No. I don't care if you say you sterilized it.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Incinerator.
It says something about a Warhammer 40K Inquisition action RPG.
Yes.
So.
There's that. There is a Talisman 40K Horus Heresy era, so 30K technically, version of Talisman coming out also. Kind of worried about, I don't know, different subject matter, but I'm kind of worried about Games Workshop and the licenses, because it's more like they're like trying to shotgun the wall and see what sticks with the games nowadays. Yeah. Dawn of War 3. Yeah, go check out that trailer. Oh. Violence and death, and in the 41st millennium there is only war. But yeah. So, but like the Dawn of War one, I totally expect it to be a good game and do good.
Mm-hmm. Is there any updates on No Man's Sky?
Delayed till August.
Yeah.
However, No Man's Sky was not mentioned anywhere at E3. However, I just happen to know that it is delayed till August, and the likely reason, due to speculation, is that England copyright laws are bullshit. See, there is Sky Telecom in England. They're DirecTV, but for England.
Mm-hmm.
So they took Microsoft to court to protect their brand because Microsoft came out with the Microsoft SkyDrive. And they thought a cloud-based storage server was too close to their copyright of being a digital satellite television provider. So they had to take Microsoft to sue over it, which is why Microsoft now has the Microsoft OneDrive. SkyDrive never actually went away. It just woke up one day and someone had changed its name to OneDrive. It was same service, everything is exactly the same. Like the development cycle of it never slowed down or anything. Mm-hmm. Just it woke up one day with a different name. So they decided that they were going to sue independent video game developer over the word Sky in the name of their video game. No Man's Sky versus their name Sky Telecom. And telecom's in quotes, just see, but that's part of it is I think their name is too general.
They do know that the term sky is a word that has been around forever.
Yeah. Like, I can, like, for example, I could say, I don't care, I'm still free, you can't take the sky from me. They cannot sue me for that song lyric. Because that's a lyric. Mm-hmm. They cannot sue me for naming my song Sky. Like, for example, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. They would lose that because they are not as old as the said song in this case. However, they could sue me if I wanted to name my video game No Man's Sky, which I don't personally think there is any correlation to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, mind you, and here's the thing, they didn't, in British law, they settled in the British court with Sky Telecom. They didn't win. Of course, they didn't lose either because they settled, but they probably didn't have a strong enough case in England's eyes, in the way the English copyright law is written, to not be infringing on the copyright of Sky and the telecom giant, who I think are just a bunch of paranoid assholes. They're probably a bunch of old white men who don't actually understand the modern age. And are also probably paranoid because they are losing television revenues to services like, Netflix and things like, oh, this is on the internet, we got to stop that. Oh, sorry, that was a Southerner. I don't. Posh rich English accent here, said by a very old man.
Pip pip trio.
But yeah, so yeah, they just don't know. It's stupid that they sued Microsoft over the SkyDrive. It's stupid they sued. I don't remember the direct developer, but the developer of No Man's Sky over the name of the video game, which neither of them to me are even remotely close to Sky Telecom.
I would agree. I mean,
but what's the thing? They won versus Microsoft in British court. They took this case in British court. These cases would have been thrown the hell out in American courts. They would have had no leg to stand on.
They'd be like, dumb.
Yeah, they're like, you're dumb. Your names aren't close enough. Get out of my courtroom. So of course that's, even though they're suing both American companies, they're suing American companies in British court. So if I was the American companies, I would have been, come on over, assholes.
Dare you.
Yeah. But they also knew that their lawyers probably also advised that they can't sue in American court because they will lose in American court. So, anyway.
I think there'd be some sort of jurisdiction with an American company, and you're suing it from a British court, though. But all right.
Yeah, I don't pretend to understand international copyright law. I am not a legal scholar, and I do not have the time nor interest to dedicate my time to becoming a legal scholar in said subject.
by the next show, Mason, I expect you to have a full write-up regarding international copyright law, and we'll hash this all out together.
How about no?
Oh, for all of those of you in the listening audience, because I realize this is an audio podcast, I was staring blankly at Dustin while he was saying that.
Like, how fucking dare you?
So, yeah. But, yeah, so that was kind of E3 in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mason, for the guided tour of E3, because the two of us didn't seem to have the time to go watch it.
Stuff.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, so, and I have to say, when it comes to the Ubi games, like, I'm really looking forward to Watch Dogs 2. Please, Ubi, don't fuck it up. Like, if you need a little more time, you say it's going to be out in November, great. If you need some time to make sure there aren't graphical bugs that make the faces inside out on my characters when I'm talking to them, or or all of a sudden make the frame rates tank, like, into the shitter when there's more than 5 things happening on the screen, Syndicate. Please take your time, fix those things, make sure the game is running and working, then release it.
This has been a public service announcement from Mason Ireland and the Nerd Effect Podcast.
Yeah.
Don't fuck that game up, goddammit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like,
patch it later.
This thing is like, I think Ubi makes some great worlds for their games. If they would just take the time to finish the games before they put them out the door, so they didn't have bugs.
I agree. All right. Yeah. Any final thoughts on E3?
Yeah, Mass Effect. Yay.
Yay, VR porn.
Why do I hang out with these guys?
Because reasons.
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Okay, no, Mass Effect is good, but there's a lot of things that are coming out before Mass Effect that are at least as good.
I'd say I'm looking forward, as far as some of the list goes, Resident Evil 7, even though it's kind of hype right now. Tekken 7 for sure. I mean, this is going to be another Tekken game, but I'll fucking throw $30-$40 at it maybe. God, what else? The fucking Norman Reedus one.
Dead Stranding.
Dead Stranding looks really interesting.
Who knows when it's going to be out? So it was.
Well, that, and I want to see an actual play demo of it too.
Yeah.
If it's anything remotely close to PT, then shit, yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah. I'm still hoping that Kojima and Guillermo can get back together.
I think Guillermo just said, fuck it, I'm not going to deal with video games anymore.
He might have, unfortunately. But, now that Kojima's free...
That's true.
Kojima is pretty much can do whatever he wants now. So... Because it was Konami the whole time fucking everything up. It wasn't Kojima.
Which I still have PT on my PS4. I need to try and stomach it again. It's
one more time.
Yeah, that game is just fucking creepy as balls.
Yeah.
So, yeah, realistic and just weird.
Yeah.
Clench onto your mangina and get in there.
Yep. That's what I gotta do.
Mangina seems to be my word, but then
evidently, yes.
All right, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap this one up.
Okay.
Join us. Okay, sorry, let's stop. This is gonna get me on this time.
Mike the Mangina Morgan.
I'm not gonna go that far.
Oh, okay.
Wrap it.
Whoa, just lost my train of thought.
Wrap it before you tap it.
Always good advice, but
for the Nerd Effect podcast, we've been
Macamogan.
Mason, Ireland.
And I am Dustin Vancour. And for those about to nerd,
We salute you.